As in Italy, a banker was appointed prime minister and a referendum was ignored. In Europe, we cancelled a total of 5 referendums because the citizens hadn't voted as the EU wanted them to. Were those decisions constitutional? Maybe they were, but were they also ethical and democratic? In Venezuela, after the 2015 crisis, a part of the right-wing opposition started boycotting elections. They asked the UN not to send experts who could determine whether fraud had been attempted. Democracy in Venezuela goes into turmoil. Is the government solely responsible, or is it also the ghost of the 2002 coup? Several coup instigators will never go to prison and will form the hardcore of the right-wing opposition.
It's interesting that many of the opposition politicians today in Venezuela were involved in some way or another in the coup d'etat of April 2002.
Some of those politicians will continue to receive funding from American organizations like the NED that send millions of Congress dollars to Venezuela. When the political crisis hit the streets, many politicians exploited public frustration and transformed Caracas into a battlefield. Parts of the opposition resorted to extreme violence. The state mechanism responded cruelly and indiscriminately. Dozens were killed on both sides, and many ended up in prison. When independent UN expert Alfred de Zayas visited Caracas, he persuaded the government to release 80 prisoners.
Are important, the flag.
He insists, though, that some should be in prison and shouldn't be considered political prisoners. On the subject of political prisoners, he said, we should look at Europe as well.
There are 4 persons, Catalan politicians, who are in jail. Now, these 4 Catalan politicians are clearly political prisoners. Whereas in Venezuela, many of the detainees were detained because of acts of violence, in Catalonia, they were detained because they were just expressing their desire to be independent.